Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Modern Mom's Roadmap to Balance podcast. We are continuing with our series, Love After Kids. My name is Kayla Nettleton, and I'm your host. So we're just going to get straight on into it today because a few weeks ago, I posted a reel on Instagram, and what I was trying to do with the reel was showcase how miscommunication can easily happen. And we'll link that reel in the show notes so you can watch it. But what I was doing in the reel is I was acting as myself and then I was acting as my husband. I was pretending to cook food on the stove, and my husband walks in and basically is asking me where his red shirt is. Then pretending to be my husband, looking for this red shirt in the laundry room, whereas I'm myself in the kitchen and he's yelling like, "Hey babe, where's my red shirt? I can't find it." And then I'm yelling back, "It's on the dryer." But he's actively looking. I'm pretending to be him. So this is why I can say what he's doing. He's actively looking for the red shirt, looking in the laundry hamper, looking in the dryer as I'm yelling, "It's on top of the dryer." I'm in this reel trying to showcase the miscommunication here, right? Like I'm in the kitchen and he's all the way in the laundry room and we're kind of yelling back and forth to each other. Like, "I don't know where it is," right? And "Where is it?" And I'm saying, "It's on the dryer." But he is not really hearing me, is what I'm trying to portray. And he can't find the shirt. In the video, if you're watching, you can see the shirt. It's on top of the dryer. So as a viewer, it's easy for you to spot because you can hear me clearly. I was trying to portray that he could not hear me clearly, which was part of the miscommunication piece here. And I posted this on Instagram and I also posted it on TikTok. And in both platforms, I got someone who said that this was weaponized incompetence. Have you ever heard of weaponized incompetence? And if you haven't, that is what we're talking about today. We're talking about weaponized incompetence because I wanted to clear up what weaponized incompetence was, because in that video, what I was portraying, it wasn't. And the reason it wasn't was because I was portraying my husband to actively be looking for that red shirt that he just kept missing. One, because he really wasn't hearing what I was saying. And two, sometimes we cannot see what is right in front of our face. I mean, it's happened to me too. So, what is weaponized incompetence? A simple definition of weaponized incompetence is when one partner pretends not to know how to do something or does it poorly so they won't be asked again. Okay, I'm going to say that again. It's when one person pretends not to know how to do something or does it poorly so they won't be asked again. So some examples of this might look like if my husband really was looking for his shirt and I said, "It's in the laundry room on top of the dryer." And he just walks into the laundry room and then walks out without actually looking and tells me, "Hey, I can't find it. Can you go get it for me?" That is more of an example of weaponized incompetence. Another example could look like you asking your husband or you asking your wife to, I'm just going to keep it with husband because I know it's mostly moms who listen to this show and I'm talking to y'all. So you ask your husband, "Hey, can you cook spaghetti tonight for dinner?" And then he goes, "Oh, honey, but I love the way you cook spaghetti. Your spaghetti is so much better than mine. And if I do it, I'm just not going to do it justice." That's another form of weaponized incompetence. And then again, I'm trying to think of different examples, but laundry keeps coming up because that's top of mind. So say you have your husband do the laundry and he purposely doesn't sort anything, just throws everything in the laundry. And then all of a sudden you have pink socks that used to be white, right? Weaponized incompetence. They are trying to get out of doing something or they don't want you to ask them to do things. So here's the thing. It's not always intentional. Okay. And we'll get to that in a minute. But I don't want you to start getting heated right now and thinking about all the ways that your husband is just trying to manipulate you. That's not the point of today because some of this is learned behavior. But Why does weaponized incompetence hurt relationships? The reason that it does is because usually when this is happening, there is one person that is then carrying more of the load. They're doing more of the household work. They're doing more of the things that have to be done, even maybe with the kids, or not just managing the household, but also thinking about all of the things in terms of keeping track of birthdays and buying gifts for the birthday parties that you attend, sending thank you cards, keeping up with the school calendar. All of those things end up falling on one person, or one person is doing a majority of the thing, which can really hurt the connection that you have within the relationship. And this can create resentment. One partner feels like they're carrying the mental and emotional load alone, they're going to become resentful of the other person. This is going to hurt trust. The person who is doing more of the work is going to feel like they can't trust their partner to do these things, which then leads them to want to do even more work. And it becomes this endless cycle that really is hurting one person. Well, it's hurting one person, but it's also hurting your marriage, and it fuels burnout. And often moms are already doing so much. This dynamic can quietly reinforce the unequal labor within the household. And like I've been saying, this really kills intimacy. So when one person is doing most of the work, most of managing the household, it feels one-sided, and that creates distance. No one wants to feel like they're doing it all on their own. No one wants to feel completely alone in the relationship. And I've been there too. I did this myself. I would pick up the slack because I thought that if I asked for help, then help wouldn't happen, or wouldn't happen the way that I wanted it to happen. And so the other way that this can creep up is it can feel like it's easier to just do everything on your own because your partner is unwilling, or does it maybe in a ridiculous way, or they're not doing it the right way. Sometimes it's maybe not the right way, but sometimes it's not the way that you would do it. So you have to pay attention to that. Okay. So why does this happen? So kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, that this is not always intentional, or it's not always meant to be in a mean or malicious way. Sometimes this is just what they learned to do. It was modeled to them. And they learned that if they're just helpless, that task will be done for them, or someone else will end up doing it. It could also be how they grew up, right? So thinking about your family of origin and your parents' family of origin, so their parents and what they modeled to them and what they saw, right? So sometimes this is what they viewed in terms of the family dynamic. What was their mom in charge of? What did they do versus what their father did? And for you too, thinking about the roles that your parents played and how that dynamic was within their marriage, because those are the patterns that we eventually fall into. So if you saw your mom picking up all the slack for your dad, that's what you're going to do, because that's what you know. And vice versa, that's what your husband's going to do. They're going to do what they saw their parents do. So if they came from a household where their mother did mostly everything and their father maybe went to work and then came home and was able to relax, that's what they're going to do too. But you might not want to live like that. And so when you think about that, you're each playing by two different rule books, right? Your families and his families. You want to create your own rule book. Well, let's not even call it a rule book. Let's call it a playbook. You want to create your own playbook of how y'all want your household to run, but also recognizing that you're going to kind of fall back into your patterns, and you have to be able to keep each other accountable. And one thing that I also want to point out is sometimes we allow weaponized incompetence to happen because, one, we didn't even know what it was, right? So if this is the first time you're hearing weaponized incompetence, you may have unintentionally be reinforcing this type of behavior. So going back to some of those examples, using the spaghetti one. So you asked your husband to cook spaghetti and he's like, oh, honey, but your spaghetti is so good and I absolutely love it and the kids love it. I don't know if they're going to like the one I make, and then it might be a disaster. So if that is happening for you, one thing you can do is say, it's okay. I know that you love my spaghetti, but I really need your help right now. And that is what was planned for dinner. If you want to do something else with the ground meat noodles, that's totally okay. But I really need your help today. And this is not going to feel natural for you. And I totally get it. I had to fight myself, and I sometimes still fight myself to ask for help and receive the help and not allow something like that to stop me from getting the help that I needed. So let me see. I want to think of some other examples. Okay, so like say folding laundry. Like, hey, honey, can you fold the laundry? And maybe he'll go like, oh, well, I mean, I don't really know where everything goes. And I know that you like everything to kind of be folded a certain way and for it to go in a certain spot. Right. And so you might be thinking, well, yeah, you're right. I do want it to be folded a certain way and I do have a place for everything. But instead of you continuing to fold the laundry and you need help today in this moment, you can maybe let it go for today. Say, you know what? It's fine. Just fold the laundry and put it away wherever you think it should go. And that's okay. Like, I know you don't know where everything goes, but if you can kind of figure it out, that would be helpful because I'm feeling really overwhelmed today. And this is the one thing I want you to help me with. So this actually happened to us this weekend, where usually on Saturdays I'm doing laundry and my husband will go to the ranch and do his thing there. And on Sundays we'll usually maybe do something together as a family because I have more time on Sunday. I've already done the laundry. Well, I had unintentionally started also going to the grocery store when that used to be my husband's thing to do. And part of that was when I was doing a challenge where I was trying to get certain steps in. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get my steps in and I don't want to just like do it on the treadmill. I will go into the grocery store, right? And so this weekend was really clear that I don't have to do the groceries anymore, but I was still doing the groceries. And so this weekend on Saturday, we went to, or it wasn't this weekend now that you're listening to it, was a few weekends ago when this recording will come out. But we went to my mother-in-law's for an early Easter, which meant I went to the ranch with my husband. And then we did Easter stuff with his family. And we came back later that evening. So that meant I couldn't do laundry on Saturday. So my laundry was Sunday. So instead of trying to just figure it out and do it myself, I started the loads of laundry. And when we were eating breakfast, I asked my husband if he could do the grocery shopping today while I get caught up with the laundry. And he did. And he took both the little ones, which made it super easy for me to get the laundry done and everything folded without anyone jumping on the bed and messing up my piles. And I hate taking the kids to the grocery store. So I was super grateful that he did because I would never. I would never take them both to the grocery store. I guess like if I had to, sure. But that is not something that I would choose. So he was up for taking them both, which was awesome. And he came back after that. And then we ended up doing my daughter's science fair project. We were able to hang out outside as a family for a few hours. And we even got to watch a movie that evening. And I remember like telling him that night, I was like, you know what? This was a really good day. You need to continue going to the grocery store because that saved us so much time. And we were able to spend more time as a family together. And he was like, yeah, no problem. Sure, he was a little annoyed with the kids, right? But he was like, they did way better than I expected. Because they're a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, right? You can imagine everyone's wanting to ask for something. And then you have all the seasonal Easter stuff out. So that's even more things for them to get distracted by. So, weaponized incompetence. Sometimes we are unintentionally allowing our husbands to use that against us, but we don't have to let them do that. So now what do you do about it, right? So one way is you can call it out. And I'm not saying tell him you're using weaponized incompetence. Calling it out can also be encouraging them that although this isn't something that they regularly do, that you're confident that this is something that they can do. And if they need help, they can ask you and you will gladly help them so that maybe this is something they can continue helping you with in the future, right? Another way you can call it out is even say like, hey, when you say you're not good at this, it feels like I'm being left to figure it out all on my own. And I'm already overwhelmed. So how can we figure out how to do this together? Like I am totally okay with showing you the way that I do it, and you can do it the way that I do it, or you can do it a way that you've learned, or maybe you find something on YouTube that is easier for you. That's totally fine. But I really need your help and we need to be able to do this together. So that's another way of calling it out. Another thing that you can do about it is have a whole big conversation about it. Talk about the responsibilities that you've been doing and exhausted now and want there to be more shared responsibility within the household. And try your best not to criticize your partner. And what I mean by that is don't say that they're just lazy or that they're an idiot or how you wished you would have married someone who could do all of these things, because that's immediately going to put them on the defensive, and that's not helpful. That's not going to help you, and it's not going to help them, and that's only going to lead to more disconnection. So lead with how you're feeling about everything. Like, hey, babe, I've just been feeling really exhausted and overwhelmed with all of the things that need to be done to keep the household in the way that we enjoy it. And I would really like your help. And I want us to talk about how we can split some of these things up in a way where we're both feeling good about it. What do you think about that? Okay. And you can totally use this. You can use my words to start this conversation. And there is probably going to be pushback. Your husband has probably benefited from you doing all of the things because he gets to relax and do stuff. But if you want y'all's marriage to be in a good place, you cannot be the only one picking up the slack and doing everything, because that's really going to hurt the connection that you have within your marriage. If your husband is helping you with these things, you're going to feel more connected to them. You're going to want to be closer to them. And lastly, set boundaries. Boundaries are really important because it's going to protect your peace. It's going to set standards for not just your husband, but for you. Setting boundaries is not necessarily to control other people. I know people can get really uneasy and a little bit scared for setting boundaries because they think that that's just a way that you can control and manipulate people, but boundaries are for you. And that is also something that we can talk about in another episode of the podcast, because I can continue going on. And I really wanted this to stay short so that it was something that you could listen to now and not feel like you have to wait. So if this dynamic has shown up in your relationship, you're not alone. And it doesn't mean your relationship is doomed. There are things that you can do, and some of them we've already discussed, so that weaponized incompetence isn't something that shows up frequently within your marriage. And of course, awareness is the first step. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing this. So pay attention to when maybe weaponized incompetence does show up within your marriage, and keep each other accountable and communicate what you need from your partner. If this is something that you're struggling with and you're looking for support, I have availability for new clients. This is something that I work with individuals and couples on in therapy sessions. But that is all that I had for today. And I would love to know what you thought about the episode. So you're more than welcome to send me a DM or put comments in the comment section of wherever you're listening. But thank you so much, and I will see you next time.